let's find out what the Quran actually says. Surat Al Anfal, the spoils of war. They ask you about the spoils of war. Say, the spoils are for Allah and the Messenger. So fear Allah and adjust all matters of difference among you and obey Allah and His Messenger if you are believers. The believers are only those who, when Allah is mentioned, feel a fear in their hearts, and when His verses are recited unto them, they increase their faith, and they put their trust in their Lord, who perform and spend out of that we have provided them. It is they who are the believers in truth. For them are grades of dignity with their Lord, and forgiveness, and a generous provision. Believers. As your Lord caused you to go out from your home with the truth, and verily a party among the believers disliked it, disputing with you concerning the truth after it was made manifest, as if they were being driven to death while they were looking. And when Allah promised you one of the two parties, that it should be yours, you wished that the one not armed should be yours, but Allah willed to justify the truth by His words, and to cut off the roots of the disbelievers, that He might cause the truth to triumph, and bring falsehood to nothing, even though the hate it. When you sought help of your Lord, and He answered you, I will help you with 1,000 of the angels, each behind the other, in succession. Allah made it only as glad tidings, and that your hearts be at rest therewith. And there is no victory except from Allah. Verily, Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. When He covered you with a slumber as a security from Him, and He caused water to descend on you from the sky to clean you thereby, and to remove from you the of Shaitan, and to strengthen your hearts and make your feet firm thereby. The spoils. They ask you about the spoils. Say, the spoils are to Allah and the Messenger. So fear Allah and do good among yourselves, and obey Allah and His Messenger, if you were believers. Surely the believers are only those who, when Allah is mentioned, their hearts fill with fear, and when His verses are recited to them, it increases their faith, and they depend on their Lord. Those who perform the prayers and spend from what we provided them, those are the true believers. They have degrees with their Lord, and forgiveness, and a generous provision. As your Lord gets you out of your house with the truth, and surely a group of the believers hated it, disputing with you about the truth after it had been made clear, as if they were driven to death while you were looking on. And when Allah promised you that one of the two assemblies should fall to you, and you desired that those who had no thorns should be yours, and Allah desired to prove the truth with His words, and to cut off the last of the infidels, that He establishes the truth and voids the vanity, even though the criminals hate it. When you called to your Lord, so He answered you, I will aid you with 1,000 angels, rank on rank. And Allah did not make this except as good news, and to assure your hearts by it, and the victory did not come except from Allah. Surely Allah is dear, wise. When sleep covers you, it is assurance from Him, and He sent down water from the heavens on you to purify you by it, and to cause the wrath of Satan to pass from you, and that He might tie on your heart and strengthen by it your feet. Wow. Okay, we've got one really good evidence that this book is not calling for peaceful coexistence. It's the spoils of war. Wow. No book teaching you to be peaceful tells you what to do with the spoils of war, because there are no spoils of war when you're peacefully minding your own business. And I find it shocking. All the spoils are for Allah's messenger. That makes Muhammad sound like he was leading a group to get himself rich. Hey, feel free to, in the comment section, explain how all the spoils being for Muhammad is not him trying to get himself rich. Alright. That's 14 of those. Okay. 12. When your Lord revealed to the angels, "Verily, I am with you, so keep firm those who believed. I will cast terror into the hearts of those who have disbelieved. So strike them over the necks and smite over all their fingers and toes. This is because they defied and disobeyed Allah and His Messenger. And whoever defies and disobeys Allah and His Messenger, then verily Allah is severe in punishment. So taste it. And surely for the disbelievers is the torment of the fire." When your Lord revealed to the angels, "I am with you, so make firm those who believed. I will cast terror into the hearts of those who became infidels, so strike above the necks, and strike off every finger from them. This is because they have opposed Allah and His Messenger. And whoever opposes Allah and His Messenger, so surely Allah is severe in the punishment. That is, so taste it, and that to the infidels the torment of the fire." Okay. 221 it was. 14. No, we did 14. 15. "O you who believe, when you meet those who disbelieve in a battle, never turn your backs to them. And whoever turns his back to them on such a day, unless it be a stratagem of war or to retreat to a troop, he indeed has drawn upon himself a wrath from Allah, and his abode is hell, and worst indeed is that destination. You killed them not, but Allah killed them. And you threw not when you did throw, but Allah threw, that He might test the believers by a fair trial from Him. Verily, Allah is all-hearer, all-knower. This, and surely Allah weakens the deceitful plots of the disbelievers. If you ask for a judgment, now has the judgment come unto you, and if you cease, it will be better for you. And if you return, so shall we return, and your forces will be of no avail to you, however numerous they be, and verily Allah is with the believers. O you who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger, and turn not away from Him, while you are hearing, and be not like those who say, we have heard, but they hear not." 15. O you who have believed, when you meet those who became infidels marching, do not turn your backs to them. And whoever will turn his back to them on that day, unless he turns away strategically to engage in war, or to rally some other group, so indeed will return with wrath from Allah, and hell will be his abode, and wretched is the final place. 17. So it was not you who killed them, but Allah killed them. And you did not throw when you threw, but Allah threw. And he would give the believer from it a good test. Surely Allah is hearing, knowing. That is, and that Allah hinders the scheme of the infidels. If you conquer, so indeed the conquest has come to you. And if you end it, it is better for you. And if you will return, we will return. And your groups, even though they be many, will not profit you anything, and Allah is with the believers. O you who have believed, obey Allah and His Messenger, and do not turn away from Him while you hear. And do not be like those who say, we heard, and they did not hear. Okay. 22. Verily, the worst of living creatures with Allah are the deaf and the dumb who understand not. Had Allah known of any good in them, He would indeed have made them listen. And even if He had made them listen, they would have turned away with aversion. O you who believe, answer Allah and Messenger when He calls you to that which will give you life, and know that Allah comes in between a person and his heart. And verily, to Him you shall be gathered. And fear the which affects not in particular those of you who do wrong, and know that Allah is severe in punishment. And remember, when you were few and were reckoned weak in the land, and were afraid that men might kidnap you, but He provided a safe place for you, strengthened you with His help, and provided you with good things, so that you might be grateful. O you who believe, betray not Allah and His Messenger, nor betray knowingly your... and know that your possessions and your children are but a trial, and that surely with Allah is a mighty reward. O you who believe, if you obey and fear Allah, He will grant you and will expiate for you your sins and forgive you. Allah is the owner of the great bounty. Okay, 22. Surely the worst creatures before Allah are the deaf and the dumb, and those who do not understand. And if Allah knew of any good in them, He would have made them hear. And if He had made them hear, they would still have turned away and withdrawn. O you who have believed, answer to Allah and to the Messenger if He calls you, to that which gives you life, and know that Allah comes in between a man and his own heart, and that to Him you will be gathered, and fear sedition, though it will not harm those who have specifically been treated unjustly among you. And know that Allah is severe in the punishment. And remember, when you were few and weakened on the earth, you feared that people might snatch you, so He sheltered you and supported you with His victory, and provided you from the good things. Perhaps you may give thanks. O you who have believed, do not betray Allah and the Messenger, and betray those who trust you, and you know. And know that your money and your children are only a sedition, and that Allah has a great wage. O you who have believed, if you fear Allah, He will make discrimination for you, and will atone from you your evils, and will forgive you. And Allah is the possessor of the great bounty. 30 to 38. 30. And when the disbelievers plotted against you to imprison you, or to kill you, or to get you out, see, they were plotting, and Allah too was plotting, and Allah is the best of those who plot. And when our verses are recited to them, they say, "We have heard. If we wish, we can say the like of this. This is nothing but the tales of the ancients." And when they said, "O Allah, if this is indeed the truth from you, then rain down stones on us from the sky, or bring on us a painful torment." And Allah would not punish them while you are amongst them, nor will He punish them while they seek forgiveness. And why should not Allah punish them whilst they hinder from, and they are not its guardians? None can be its guardians except there at the house was nothing but whistling and clapping of hands. Therefore taste the punishment, because you used to disbelieve. Verily, those who disbelieve spend their wealth to hinder from the path of Allah, and so will they continue to spend it, but in the end it will become an anguish for them. Then they will overcome, and those who disbelieve will be gathered into hell, unto hell, not into hell, in order that Allah might distinguish the wicked from the good, and put the wicked one over another, heap them together, and cast them into hell. It is they who are the losers. Say to those who have disbelieved, if they cease, their past will be forgiven, but if they return, then the examples of those before them have already preceded. Okay, 30. And when those who became infidels deceive you to detain you, or to kill you, or to expel you, and they deceive, and Allah deceives, and Allah is the best deceiver. And when our verses are recited to them, they said, "Indeed, we have heard it. If we wanted to, we could say like it. This is nothing but the legends of the ancients." And when they said, "O Allah, if this was the truth from you, rain down stones on us from heaven, or give us painful torment." And it was not of Allah, to torment them while you were with them, and it was not of Allah to torment them while they were asking forgiveness. And what do they have that Allah does not torment them? And they prevent from the forbidden mosque, and they were not his friends. But the fearers, but most of them do not know. And their prayer was not at the house, except whistling and clapping. So taste the torment for what you were infidels of. Surely, those who became infidels spend their money to prevent from the way of Allah. So they will spend it, then it will become a regard against them. Then they will be defeated. And those who became infidels will be gathered into hell, that Allah may distinguish the bad from the good, and puts the bad, some on the other, so He heaps them all together, so He puts them into hell. Those are the losers. Say to those who became infidels, if they cease, what is past will be forgiven them, and if they return, so indeed the custom of the ancients has passed. I've got room right over here. Alright. 39. And fight them until there is no more, and the religion alone will be for Allah. The religion will be for Allah alone. But if they cease, then certainly Allah is all-seer of what they do. And if they turn away, then know that Allah is your, let's see, an excellent helper. "39. And engage in war with them until there will not be sedition, and the religion will be completely to Allah. So if they cease, so surely Allah sees what they do. And if they turn away, so know that Allah is your protector. Excellent is the protector, and excellent is the helper." Okay. Wow. That verse very clearly ordered those who believe to fight those who don't believe. So, you, I didn't say your names, so I don't violate your privacy, but if you by chance watch us, you people I know personally, I have never seen you do that. Never. So, we are going to get to burn in hell together if the Quran is true. High five. High five, yeah. Not only have I... yeah. Or does it mean the opposite of what it says? Feel free to write in the comments if it means whatever you think about it. Alright. Back to the reading. Okay, and 41. And know that whatever of war booty that you gain, verily 1/5 of it is assigned to Allah and to the Messenger, and to the near relatives, the orphans, and the wayfarer. If you have believed in Allah and in that which we sent down to our slave on the day of criterion, the day when the two forces met, and Allah is able to do all things. When you were on the near side of the valley, and they on the farther side, and the caravan on the ground lower than you, even if you had made a mutual appointment to meet, you would certainly have failed in the appointment, but that Allah might accomplish a matter already ordained, so that those who were to be destroyed might be destroyed after a clear evidence, and those who were to live might live after a clear evidence, and surely Allah is all-hearer, all-knower. When Allah showed them to you as few in your dream, if He had shown them to you as many, you would surely have been discouraged, and you would surely have disputed in making a decision. But Allah saved, certainly He is the all-knower of what is in the breasts. And when you met, He showed them to you as few in your eyes, and He made you appear as few in their eyes, so that Allah might accomplish a matter already ordained, and to Allah return all matters. O you who believe, when you meet force, take a firm stand against them, and remember the name of Allah, so that you may be successful. And obey Allah and His Messenger, and do not dispute, lest you lose courage, and your strength departs, and be patient. Surely Allah is with those who are, and be not like those who come out of their homes boastfully, and to be seen of men, and hinder from the path of Allah, and Allah is all that they do. And when Shaitan made their deeds seem fair to them, and said, no one of mankind can overcome you this day, and verily I am your neighbor, but when the two forces came in sight of each other, he ran away, and said, verily, I have nothing to do with you. Verily, I see what you see not. Verily, I fear Allah, for Allah is severe in punishment. Satan ran away. When the hypocrites and those in whose hearts was a disease, said, "These people are deceived by their religion. But whoever puts his trust in Allah, then surely Allah is Almighty, All-Wise." And if you could see when the angels take away the souls of those who disbelieve, they smite their faces and their backs, saying, "Taste the punishment of the blazing fire. This is because of that which your hands had forwarded, and verily Allah is not unjust to his slaves." Similar to the behavior of the people of Fir'aun, and of those before them had rejected the of Allah, so Allah punished them for their sins. Verily Allah is all-strong, severe in punishment. That is so because Allah will never change a grace which He has bestowed on a people until they change what is in their own selves. And verily Allah is all-hearer, all-knower. Similar to the behavior of the people of Fir'aun and those before them, they belied the of their Lord. So we destroyed them for their sins, and we drowned the people of Fir'aun, for they were all. Verily, the worst of moving creatures before Allah are those who disbelieve, so they shall not believe. Okay. 41. And know that whatever you take of spoil of anything, sow a fifth part to Allah, and to the messenger, and to the nearest relative, and to orphans, and to the poor, and to the son of the way. If you were believers in Allah, and what we sent down on our servant on the discrimination day, the day of the meeting of the two groups, and Allah has might over all things. While you were on the east side, and they were on the far side, and the caravan was below you. And if you had an appointment, you would have failed in the appointment, but Allah, that Allah may fulfill an affair that was decreed, that he who should perish might perish with a clear proof, and that he who lives might live with a clear proof. And surely Allah is hearing, knowing. When Allah shows them to you in your sleep as few, and if He had shown them numerous to you, you would fail, and you would have disputed in the affair. But Allah is safe. Surely He knows what is in the chests. And when He showed them to you, when you met as few in your eyes, and diminished in their eyes, that Allah might carry out the affair that was to be done. And to Allah the affairs will return. O you who have believed, when you meet a group, so hold firm and remember Allah much. Perhaps you will prosper, and obey Allah and His Messenger, and do not dispute, so you become a failure, and your smell may go from you. And be patient. Surely Allah is with the patient. And do not be like those who came out of their homes boastfully, to be seen of people, and who prevent others from the way of Allah. And Allah surrounds what they do. And when Satan beautified their works, and said, "None of the people will defeat you today, and surely I am a neighbor to you." So when the two groups saw each other, he turned from his heel and said, "Surely I am innocent of you. Surely I see what you do not see. Surely I fear Allah, and Allah is severe in the punishment." When the hypocrites and those who have disease in their hearts said, "Their religion has made them proud, and whoever depends on Allah, so surely Allah is dear, wise." And if you see when the angels cause those who became infidels to die, they smite their faces and their rear ends, and taste the torment of the fire. That is because of what your hands have sent on before, and that Allah is not unjust to his servants, like the habit of the family of Pharaoh, and those who were infidels in the signs of Allah before them. So Allah sees them with their sins. Surely Allah is severe in punishment. This is because Allah does not change the grace with which He graced on a people, until they change what is in themselves, and that Allah is hearing and knowing, like the habit of the family of Pharaoh, and those before them who denied the signs of their Lord. So we destroyed them with their sins, and we drowned the family of Pharaoh, and all were unjust. Surely the worst creatures before Allah are those who became infidels, so they do not believe. Alright. In the parentheses, which means it's not in the Quran, but they're letting you know, like, some background that's not in the words of the Quran itself. In the one I have that was printed in Saudi Arabia, it says it's a Battle of Badr, al-Badr. Those who I have fact-checked and who quote the Quran accurately have said that that battle was in the region of Medina, after Muhammad had fled there and made a living as a caravan raider, and the Meccans tried to put an end to the caravan raiding. That sounds pretty defensive to me, to end caravan raiders. Is that how and why the Battle of Badr got started? Feel free to type in the comments if those other people had given me bad information and there was something else happening that got the Battle of Badr started. Okay. 56. They are those with whom you made a covenant, but they break their covenant every time, and they do not fear Allah. So if you gain the mastery over them in war, punish them severely, in order to disperse those who are behind them, so that they may learn a lesson. If you fear treachery from any people, throw back to them on equal terms. Certainly Allah likes not the treacherous. And let not those who disbelieve think that they can outstrip. Verily they will never be able to save themselves. And 56. Those with whom you had covenants, then they break their covenant at every time, and they do not fear. So if you overtake them in war, then scatter those who are left behind. Perhaps they will remember. And should you fear betrayal from any people, so do the same to them. Surely Allah does not love the betrayers. And those who became infidels do not count that they surpass. Surely they will never hinder. Okay, 60 to 64. 60. And make ready against them all you can of power, including steeds of war, to threaten the enemy of Allah and your enemy, and others besides whom you may not know, but whom Allah does know. And whatever you shall spend in the cause of Allah shall be repaid unto you, and you shall not be treated unjustly. But if they incline to peace, you also incline to it, and trust in Allah. Verily, He is the All-Hearer, the All-Knower. And if they intend to deceive you, then verily Allah is all-sufficient for you. He it is who has supported you with His help, and with the believers, and He has united their hearts. If you had spent all that is in the earth, you could not have united their hearts, but Allah has united them. Certainly He is Almighty, All-Wise. O Prophet, Allah is sufficient for you and for the believers who follow you. 60. And prepare for them whatever power you can, and of the tying of horses. Strike terror into the enemy of Allah, and your enemy, and others without them you do not know them. Allah knows them, and what you spend from anything for the sake of Allah, it will be repaid to you, and you will be not be dealt with unjustly. And if they lean towards peace, so lean toward it, and depend on Allah. Surely He is the hearing, the knowing. And if they desire to deceive you, surely Allah is sufficient for you. He is who supported you with His victory, and with the believers. And He has attuned between their hearts. If you had spent all of what is on the earth, you could not have attuned between their hearts. But Allah has attuned between them. Surely He is dear, wise. O you Prophet, Allah is sufficient for you, and the believers who follow you. Yeah, still got 23 minutes of time. "65. O Prophet, urge the believers to fight. If there are 20 steadfast persons amongst you, they will overcome 200. And if there be 100 steadfast persons, they will overcome 1,000 of those who disbelieve, because they are people who do not understand. Now Allah has lightened for He knows that there is weakness in you. So if there are of you 100 steadfast persons, they shall overcome 200. And if there are 1,000 of you, they shall overcome 2,000, with the leave of Allah. And Allah is with Okay. 65. O you Prophet, provoke the believers to engage in war. If there will be 20 patient of you, they will have victory over 200. And if there will be 100 of you, they will have victory over 1,000 of those who became infidels, because they are people who do not understand. Now Allah has lightened for you, and He knows that there is weakness in you. So if there will be 100 patient ones of you, they will have victory over 200. And if there will be 1,000 of you, they will have victory over 2,000 by Allah's permission. And Allah is with the patient." Okay. We got some different numbers coming from the translations. One was 100 and 1,000, another was 1,000 and 2,000. But you know what both translations had in common? If you believe, you must go fight. If you don't want to fight, that's okay. That means you're better than this book. Alright, so 67 to 69. Let's see. It is not for a prophet that he should have prisoners of war, until he had made a great slaughter in the land. You desire the good of the world, but Allah desires the hereafter, and Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Were it not a previous ordainment from Allah, a severe torment would have touched you for what you took. So enjoy what you have gotten of booty in war, lawful and good, and be afraid of Allah. Certainly Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. It was not for a prophet to take captives until he had made great slaughter in the land. You desired the width of this world, and Allah desires the hereafter. And Allah is dear, wise. Were it not for a predetermined decree from Allah, a great torment would have touched you, because of what you have taken. So, eat of the spoils you have taken lawfully and good, and fear Allah. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. 72. O Prophet, say to the captives that are in your hands, if Allah knows any good in your hearts, He will give you something better than what has been taken from you, and He will forgive you, and Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. But if they intend to betray you, they indeed betray Allah before you. So He gave you power over them, and Allah is all-knower, all-wise. Verily, those who believed and emigrated and strove hard and fought with their property and their lives in the cause of Allah, as well as those who gave asylum and help, these are allies to one another. And as to those who believed but did not emigrate, you owe no duty of protection to them until they emigrate. But if they seek your help in religion, it is your duty to help them, except against a people with whom you have a treaty of mutual alliance, and Allah is the all-seer of what you do. O you Prophet, say to whoever is in your hands of the captives, if Allah knows anything good in your heart, He will bring good to you, than that which He took from you, and He will forgive you, and Allah is forgiving, merciful. And if they desire to betray you, so indeed they betrayed Allah before you. So He subdued them, and Allah is knowing, wise. Surely those who have believed and emigrated, and performed jihad with their money and their lives for the sake of Allah, and those who gave asylum and helped, those are friends one to another. And those who believed and did not emigrate, you owe no duty or protection at all until they emigrate. And if they seek help from you in the religion, so your duty is to help them, except against the people with whom you have a covenant, and Allah sees what you do. He's denouncing those who did not emigrate. Does that mean the ones who did not leave Mecca when Muhammad got chased out because they did want to actually live peacefully and could peacefully coexist with other people? That is not peaceful to denounce people who figured out how to peacefully coexist with other people. Or is there some other meaning behind denouncing those who did not emigrate and are owed no protection or help? Okay, 72 to the end. No, I read 72. It was 73 to the end. And those who disbelieve are allies of one another, and if you do not do so, where's the end of the parentheses? There will be an oppression on the earth, and a great mischief and corruption. And those who believed and emigrated and strove hard in the cause of Allah, as well as those who gave asylum and aid, these are the believers in the truth. For them is forgiveness, and those who believed afterwards and emigrated and strove hard along with you, they are of you, but kindred by blood are nearer to one another in the decree ordained by Allah. Verily, Allah is the all-knower of everything. Alright. I fit that into one episode. I thought I would be able to get that number of verses into what space I have on this memory card. And wow, if this were a trial, I would say exhibit to your honor of the true Islam being violent, calls for war, calls for sending people to hell, promises hell to those who will not fight. And an advocate for Islam would claim that Muhammad was mistreated in Mecca, and that's why he needed to leave. But weren't those polytheists all peacefully coexisting? They peacefully coexisted with many other people. Each of them had their own god. They weren't polytheists in the sense that they were trying to worship, one person worshiped a lot of gods. They had competing gods, but they peacefully coexisted and didn't need to chase each other out. So, if one person has a problem with a lot of other people, and they don't have problems with each other, it's probably that one person. If one group has a problem with a lot of other groups, and those other groups can peacefully coexist, it's probably that one group. So, thanks for watching. The way to find out what a religion believes is to read their book. And we're learning what Islam believes. You have a good day.